Good morning. I cannot tell you how much I miss seeing you all. I know that there's a lot of doubt and uncertainty around the world right now, but you are bright and capable of dealing with these difficulties. If you are struggling, please reach out for help. Your teachers and our school staff are still here to support you. On Thursday, if you haven't already, you can begin completing your isolation work. Period. Please remember that if you need meals, to contact the school. The number is 304-789-2344. And that if you need help with any supplies or things like that and you need them, let us know. Everybody is here to help. I promise you we will do whatever we can, whatever we're capable of doing. I know that this is not the way that we learn in school, and that's okay, period. It's just okay. A lot of times when we say something like that, we add it with a but no, it's a period. We don't have to do it the same way we've always done it. It's okay to learn something new, and that goes for me too. I am not familiar with delivering lessons via video. I was up really late last night trying to figure out how exactly to manage this, but with the understanding that you are absolutely worth me learning something new for. So, if you notice production errors, understand that I'm doing this on my phone at a desk on a laptop that is stacked with toys underneath it to make it the right level. We are all winging it. You will be fine. I will be fine. Everything's okay. We just have to learn how to do it differently. For right now, I'm going to go over the projects that 7th and 8th grade should be working on. I passed them out on Friday, but I know several people threw them away before they left the school. That was not your best idea ever. This project is worth 400 points. You still need to meet your deadlines, with the exception of the one from Monday. I would like that by Friday. I'm going to go over everything. If you have questions, you can call me. My home phone number is listed. You can call me on Facebook. You can message me on Facebook. You can send me a message through Teams. You can send me an email at mgank@k12.wv.us. You can message me through LiveGrades. You can send me a pigeon if you can figure out where I live. However you choose to reach me, I am going to contact you back, and I'm going to give you the information that you need. Because again, we're all having to learn how to do things differently, and we will figure it out together. Okay? This is going to help you stay organized if you follow what I go over, so I really highly recommend it. Every year I have students who are like, well, I didn't start it till the day before. That isn't going to serve you or me. We need to try to think about what we're doing and be mindful of it. And with no more a school that you have to go to, you will have more time. I would like you to commit at least 30 minutes a day to the work that I assign you. That is not excessive. That is the time of one sitcom, including commercials. You can absolutely do that. And if you're worried about, oh, well, I have this and this and this that I want to get done, understand that in life we have to make priorities. There are lots of times that I want to do something different than what I have to do. I know it's a tough lesson to learn, but you can do it. I can also help you look for additional materials if you need to prepare. 6th grade, I'm not leaving you out. I have a lot planned for you. We've been investigating the civil rights era, so there will be several articles on Newsela organized under a specific title that I haven't made up yet, so I will let you know as soon as I do. I will repost class codes and write a little how-to of how to get logged in if you forgot. If you don't have your school email and password, I have them. Email me, message me, I'll figure it out. These are going to help you spread information and perspective, and you have to complete the assignments. If it says to highlight information, to take the quizzes, to do annotations, you have to do those for full credit. I will post a planner sheet with what you should complete daily, as well as some enrichment and extension activities, videos, and other things to support your learning. There will also be printed material available for those who cannot get online. Yes, everything is graded. You know I don't do busy work. Your time is valuable, and I will not waste it. I am also going to share an assignment menu for character lessons, for links, and enrichment activities for the history of rock and roll. You will need to choose and complete 2 activities per week for a satisfactory grade for the week. All right? All right. So let's start with 8th grade. 8th grade, we are working on our West Virginia Wax Museum. This is one of my favorite projects, and I'm really, really interested in how well you guys are going to do because I know you're going to do great. even though we have all these difficulties. I realize our actual living timeline might end up being changed depending on how this current situation plays out, but we have options. You are either going to record yourself giving your performance, including your physical presentation, costume, speech, etc., or you can complete the research and project display and include a written script of what would have been your presentation, along with a reflection of your person and what you think of them and how they contributed to West Virginia. If you haven't chosen who you will represent yet, you need to get that to me as soon as possible. You can change your mind if you're struggling, but I want it locked in by Friday. Let's go over the project, and if you have questions, you can let me know. On the graphic organizer that I gave you that is also located in Facebook, and I will also post in Teams, it is asking you guiding information that's going to help you make a plan. The first thing is, who is your person? What is he or she famous for? And it has to be included in your presentation. Don't give me a whole story about Anna Jarvis, but forget to mention that she founded Mother's Day and that she was from Grafton and one of our neighboring counties. You might want to include their family life, where they grew up, the things that influenced them. Other important information about their childhood. Here's a really important thing. If you're saying, but I'm doing a ship or a monster, you don't have to make up a story. You don't have to talk about how when the Mothman was a baby Mothman, we're not doing fiction. While we are having a few fictional characters, Mothman, for example, you still need to talk about how that character has contributed to West Virginia. The tourism dollars brought in by the Mothman is an excellent way to do that, and that's the last hint I'm giving you, Chloe. You can talk about the education if you're talking about a real person. Where did they go to school? Where did they go to college? What type of education did they have that contributed to what they did for our great state? Talk about their adulthood. Not everyone has the best backstory. It's okay to investigate our heroes and to say, oh, there was this really dark spot in their life. Only by looking at those dark spots are we able to really appreciate it when people really, really shine. You can talk about where they lived, what they did, significant challenges, and significant obstacles that they overcome. All of those are going to make your project better. Sorry, I'm reading this off my computer. This is one of those adjustments we have to make. And my page froze. So I'm going to wing it for a second. Last year, some of the projects that we had done were very, very interesting, even though they didn't go the way that I thought that they were. Please do not do your project thinking, oh, Mrs. Genk will like this. Yes, you should care about what the requirements are, but I want you to manifest what you think is great about the individuals that you've chosen as representatives of West Virginia. I want to know what you think. I don't want you to tell me back what I think. That's learning. We don't always agree with the people who are teaching us, but it's important that we learn how to do it, how to do the investigations, how to do the work that helps us have that learning. Okay, I've managed to pull up the other page. You can include highlights of the person's life or career and when, where, or how this person died, if you know. Yes, you're going to have to adjust all of those questions if you're doing something unconventional, but I don't mind unconventional. As long as you put the work in and you do your best, we are going to be just fine. Remember that this is just a guide to help you with your presentation. You can find a lot of interesting facts that aren't listed in those questions. It's just a way to organize. You must include more than one research source, and you may not use Wikipedia as one of them. One source has to be print material. However, I'm willing to lax that requirement if necessary because of our current condition of mostly being in our homes. Additional sources could be documentaries, videos, interviews, and historic records as long as they are from vetted sources. Do not get me some video that's talking about how the Mothman ate their cat and such blah, blah, blah. Valid sources. Make sure you vet your sources. Your oral presentation should include a minimum of 5 facts about their youth or early years or early experience, 5 facts about adult life or later years, and remember you'll need to modify that if you're doing unconventional topics, and what they are famous or well known for, and include details, period. That's important. Include details. If it's just a rambling thing about your perspective, that grade is going to be low. All right. By Friday, I want the name of your figure. If you change it after that, then talk to me to make sure that it's okay. We don't want any duplicates, and we don't want anybody working at the last minute, because I can't remember what word I was going to say, working at the last minute to try to make something up. All right. You're checking your research material. I want you to send me your sources by the 23rd. You need to submit historical facts to me by the 30th. I would also be willing to take any of these things early because you have time. You have so much time. I will also be giving you some assignments randomly through our progressive era that we've been discussing and talking about West Virginia into the 20th century. However, this is what I want you to focus on because once we come back to school, whatever that is, I'm not even going to speculate, we are not going to have class time to do this, and I don't want you leaving it to the wayside. Okay? You also need to figure out your costume, create your physical display, and then you're going to write a troubleshooting reflection. It's going to be, here's how I did my project, here's what went well, here's what I struggled with, here's what I might have done better, etc. Everything. All of it still has to be done, and however we present it, we'll just have to wing that because we're not sure yet. Remember that you are becoming expert on your person or monster or ship. You're going to speak as that individual. If you're portraying a ship, you're going to pretend like ships talk. You're not going to say because ships don't speak. We're going to suspend reality there briefly. I don't know that we'll still be able to invite the public for a presentation if we're not able to give it physically the way that we had planned. However, if you choose, you can make your video public. Just make sure you don't use your first and last names. First name only, and your face does not have to be in the presentation if that is how you choose for it to be for privacy is concerned. Okay, now to 7th grade. You have a very difficult project. I am aware. However, again, you're capable of doing difficult things. Over the course of our class, you have learned a great deal about the formation and development of civilizations. We've talked about every civilization. We've talked about the commonalities and where they build. We've talked about their hierarchy and structure. We've talked about their faith systems and about their culture, how they portrayed their laws. This is your opportunity to say, oh, I would have done it like this. In fact, that's your assignment. If you have questions, please come to me early because the end of this deadline is non-negotiable. It is a lot of work. You will not have class time to do it, whenever we get back to the classroom. So here are your initial requirements. Discussing your population, you need a half a page minimum. If you are typing it, that is Times New Roman, size 12, double-spaced. No exceptions. You're going to describe your population, including how many people there are, and your social structure. We've talked about civilizations with pharaohs at the top, with kings at the top, with slaves at the bottom, with farmers in the middle. Who is the cream of the crop in your society? And who are considered the lowest of the low? But the easiest representation of that is generally with a pyramid, the way that it appears in our books. But you can choose how to do it. I really recommend the pyramid unless you have a brilliant idea that's better. You're going to write a 1-page minimum, again, Times New Roman, double-spaced, about the geography. Pick a location where your civilization is taking place. Remember, this is a fictional civilization. So if you're talking about a place named Chloeland and it's in roughly the same place as Italy, it's okay. I know that Chloeland does not exist in Italy. It's the civilization and how you build it that's important and what you're being graded on. If you don't know of a location that meets your needs, you can create your own. You can draw your own map of a place that doesn't really exist, and that's going to be fine. But you need to answer each of these questions in your one-page minimum document. How does this location sustain crops and livestock? How will this location be advantageous for defense against attacks? And how will this location impact trade, economy, and travel? I would like all of that information, at least in outline form, by Monday. Your map. After you have determined the location for your civilization, you need to map out your territory. You should draw a map of your civilization that shows where the following things are. You can choose instead to make a scale diorama or a physical representation. I have some really cool projects in the past. I've had it done out of edible stuff. I've had projects completed out of Legos. I've had them made out of clay. I even had one done on Minecraft. However, I haven't learned how to use Minecraft yet. So if you do it that way, also please send instructions on how to access it. You need to include all of these elements: a market, a temple, a town square, village, which is the houses, and if there's more than one in your little society, farmland, because you need a stable food supply, roads, and government buildings. Is there a palace? Is there a courthouse? Is there a capitol building? Where do the people meet? Where are the laws made? That kind of information. You need a name for your civilization. You need to create a flag to design for your civilization that they could carry into battle, or that they could hold high above their government buildings. You can make it on paper, or you can make it from cloth. You're going to write a brief history of your civilization. You could include a history of wars, a family tree of your rulers or ruling family, a religious text, an almanac, or other treaties, documents, etc., in order to make your civilization more developed. This information needs to be a minimum of 3 pages, plus one additional document that you create. You need to come up with what you want that to be. Sorry for my voice, guys. I've been losing it for a while, and it's finally given up. With a 1-page minimum and a half-page of explaining your choice of government, the next is characteristics of civilization. You need to include a stable food supply. Name at least 3 crops you are going to grow and at least 2 animals that you are going to raise. Describe the specialization of labor. I need to know at least 5 jobs that people would need to do in your civilization. Include the job title, job description. What will the person be expected to do in the job? That's what the expectation is. And their salary. What do they receive for work? Do they get money? Do they get goats? What's your currency? You also need to include a system of government. This needs to be what type of government. You have 4 choices. We've talked about them extensively. One is monarchy. That is a government where you have a king or a queen, royal family. That's the leader. Another is an oligarchy. That is ruled by a very small governing group of people. You have a democracy, where you can use a true democracy like ancient Rome, or you can use a representative democracy. A government in which people make important decisions for their own nation, usually through representation. But if you do a straight democracy, that's fine. Or a theocracy, which is a government which is based on the idea that the God is ruling, the God of whatever people you're talking about, because you're developing the religion. We're going to ignore that phone. Because the whole country shares the same religion, this is usually done through priests, if you're going to choose something like that. After you choose a form of government, I want you to answer these questions, a half page per question. Why did you choose this type of government? And how will the government run in a manner that helps the civilization? Does your government advance your civilization, or does it hold them back? You need to include your social levels and classes. We talked a little bit about that in the first paragraph. So yes, some of this information is going to repeat. That's okay. Create a flowchart that illustrates the social classes of your civilization. You can divide it up by jobs, age, or any other way that your society might be subdivided. You need at least 3 explanations of why you put each group in their positions. If you said the priests are at the top, you need to explain that possibly you're in a theocracy. If you put the farmers at the top, then you need to talk about the fact that you're in an agricultural society where everybody recognizes that farmers are what keep it going. However you choose to do it, you need to justify it. Number 12. You're going to develop a sophisticated culture. You have to choose two of the following. We talked about elements of culture, and if you need to listen to the Fergie parody song again, I can send it to you. Art, music, and laws. For art, you can create a clay sculpture or another piece of artwork that shows something important about your civilization. For music, you can write a song and include some of these topics in your song. The name, population, geography, names of some of the crops or some of the animals, the type of government or important people, and the names of the gods. Laws. Come up with at least 10 laws that your society will have to follow. Make sure that you include a punishment to match each law. We talked about Hammurabi's law. We talked about draconian laws. We talked about the way that some laws were not fair. We also talked about legalism, where the laws were a little too strict. When we talked about the 12 tablets, we know that those laws were displayed. There was a way for everybody to have access to them so that nobody was being blindsided or breaking the law without realizing that they existed. And then there's your reflection. In at least one page, reflect on what you have learned about what are the most important aspects of a civilization and how they can be organized to be the best possible. Is equity and harmony in a civilization possible? Why or why not? And I want you to be detailed. All of this information is due. Understood? I'm probably going to ask that your new deadline be April 10th, because you're going to have so much time to work on it, but that's fluid right now. I just want you to be spending at least half an hour a day on working on this. If you work a little more, great. If you work less, please don't put yourself at a disadvantage by procrastinating. This is an opportunity. Every bad thing is an opportunity. You have an opportunity to learn things that you may have struggled with having time to learn before. I am not giving you so much work that each day that's all you should be doing. None of your teachers are. We want you to be having different experiences too, because this is unprecedented. This is something we never went through, so we're not sure how to navigate it either. What we want you to do is do your work, ask us your questions, but don't just spend the rest of your time in limbo. Be mindful about your time. Be deliberate in what you are choosing. Try a new recipe. Have a conversation with your grandparents that you might not other. Take up a new hobby or dust off a hobby that maybe you haven't had time for in a while. You have a lot of opportunity right now, and time is such a gift. We never seem to have enough of it. We never seem to have enough energy to do the things that we want to do because we're so busy doing all the things that we have to do. Well, you've been given a gift, and I hope that you don't waste it. I will post more videos, hopefully with a little bit better quality, and my voice will sound better. But you never know what you're going to get. Right now, Benjamin is asleep. Next time, he could be awake and banging on a drum over there, because that's where his toys are. The kids could be watching TV. Chris could be chopping wood outside the door. You never know what you're going to get. But that's okay. We all should like an adventure. Everything is going to be okay. If you need me, you know where to find me. And I will try to make the following videos after this one shorter, because this is a whole lot of talking and I'm tired now. All right, remember that I love you. You are wonderful people, and we are dealing with an extraordinary time. So it's okay to not feel like you've got it all under control. I don't think any of us feel like that right now. I'll talk to you later.